Hello everybody, I'm Robin from Modo and I'm joined by Ed, and we are going to talk yet again about REMA, the Review of Electricity Market Arrangements. So why are we going on about this again, Ed? What's the latest with REMA?
I think I make no apologies for this. I think this is a good update that we've got. So National
Excellent.
Grid.
We like good updates.
We like good updates. National Grid have done an update after the autumn forum, which essentially is the Q&As that were from the session. They've published those in a piece that you can find on their website. And the reason why it's good is because it's essentially giving us a really good direction of where we're going.
Okay, kind of getting a little sense check of what we're thinking National Grid are going to come out with in this review.
Yeah, exactly. So to take one of the sections to get started. So this whole thing around, is it national pricing? Is it zonal pricing? Is it nodal pricing? So I'm just this quote's slightly long, but I think it kind of needs to be said. So implementation of nodal pricing with central dispatch creates an enduring foundation upon which to build a holistic market design for net zero. Without these in place, the wholesale market price is missing a key component: near real-time dynamic locational signals. This missing component will lead to both generation and demand-side assets responding to inaccurate price signals, resulting in inefficient dispatch and accelerating rising costs, all of which impede decarbonisation.
Okay, so we have incredibly strong leaning towards nodal pricing as the outcome of REMA here.
Yeah, I mean, I would have struggled to have written something more in favour of nodal pricing than that. That's effectively saying, of all the things you're trying to do, this nodal pricing will enable this, and other things will lead to sort of inefficient dispatch. So that to me just feels like it sets the stall out really for what National Grid.
So we really
ESO
are looking like
for. Yeah.
Nodal pricing is the way forward.
Yes, the doc does also talk around how there are things like Ofgem's technical review as well that needs to be gone through, and so there are definitely more stages to this, and there's more consultation. But it just that feels like a very strong statement.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything in it around kind of zonal versus nodal?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So they do compare zonal and nodal, and really what this sort of boils down to is. And it's actually similar. There's a similarity between zonal and national pricing.
Right. Okay.
In that, essentially, how things are being charged with TNUoS. What they are saying is that TNUoS is kind of a non-efficient way of doing this, and you end up with sort of rezoning and repricing of TNUoS, and that actually all of that leads to sort of inefficient dispatch, and it is nodal that is the one way that is essentially the most efficient way of doing this. So they're kind of continuing to say, well, if you go for either a national or a zonal market, you still have this big TNUoS risk for any investors in whatever the tech type might be, and so really, to get the most efficient dispatch, you should be keen for nodal with things like financial transmission rights.
Right. So we're going to go as granular as possible, essentially, to get as efficient a dispatch as possible.
Yeah.
And there's really strong kind of direction of travel in that way.
It feels like it's not too granular. So they do draw a line. I think the question is asked around DNO and how sort of effectively deep you should go in terms of
in transmission versus nodal at the distribution level.
Yes, yeah. And so they're not so so committed to a solution. In fact, I don't think they sort of set out too much of a clear position. But effectively, they're not advocating going down to sort of individual nodes within your DNO.
So we're looking like transmission-based nodal.
Yes, exactly.
And is there anything in that around sort of grandfathering of existing assets, or what that means for CFD sites?
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest risk, right? So nodal electricity markets work, as do national electricity markets. But the journey from one to the other is probably very difficult, and is going to come with a huge amount of challenge. And so they do talk about that. One of the lines in there talks around the need for investment in low carbon resources for net zero is immense, and to date driven by low carbon support policies, particularly CFDs, which we all know have been very successful. And then they said the line that says existing CFD generators are likely to be protected. And so that feels like there's an element of grandfathering that's going to come in, that's going to make sure that people are, that investors can retain confidence in the whole system.
I think that has to be crucial. We need to still be able to get investment. I wonder what it looks like for future CFD auctions.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for giving us an update on the latest from the ESO on REMA. And we'll catch you again soon on the platform. And we'll link the National Grid Q&A document in the article below.